birds are like, dude, just look down at the shoe. This is not the right woman. Hello, my lovely geeks, nerds, and fellow fairy tale lovers, and welcome to Fairy Tale Friday. This is the last one for now because, as I mentioned in every video, this is a kind of limited series right now, but if there are enough likes, if there are enough comments or subscribers or people who tell me just keep doing it, I will keep doing that. Hey, because it is quite fun, but yeah, it's also a lot of work and I need to prioritize a bit in my creativity. Also, who am I? I am Jule. I'm the creator of this channel, but I'm also a writer and general creator, storyteller. You can check out my Instagram if you want to see what else I'm up to. But yeah, for now, I am your fairy tale auntie a bit. And I'm going to tell you another fairy tale that was published by the very, very famous Grimm brothers. What I want to retell you today is the very, very famous Cinderella story, which is called Aschenputtel in Germany. And so, yeah, very well. I think without further ado, let's take a stroll into the very weird and fucked up fairy tale woods of German fairy tales published by the Grimm brothers. And let's see how different that tale is, because it is quite different from what people might know about Cinderella, especially if you only know the Disney version. There are a lot of differences, you know. Well, here we are. Let's do this. Alright, so once upon a time there was a rich man and father, and he had a lovely daughter and a lovely wife, but because, you know, as we know now in fairy tales, we can't have the mother because you know, there always needs to be an other stepmom, so unfortunately the mom dies very young, and the little daughter is, of course, she's devastated, she's grieving, but her mom on her deathbed tells her daughter, listen up, girl, I want you to be just kind and nice, and you be a good girl, basically. You be a good girl, okay? So the little girl is like, yes, mom, I will be a good girl. And so the mom dies, and of course, the daughter is devastated. She misses her mom, but her dad, well, a bit though, but as we also know, the dads are always not the best in fairy tales too. So at one point he's like, well, you know, I can't do this anymore. I don't know how to like raise you and stuff. So well, I'm just a man, you know. So it's so I need another woman in the house. So he marries the evil stepmom. So the evil stepmom comes into the picture with, of course, 2 children of her own, and these new stepsisters, they are awful. They're like really bitches. Of course, they're beautiful, because I have not mentioned that yet, but every girl in a fairy tale is super beautiful and super pretty. And so, of course, these 2 stepsisters, they're super pretty, but they're assholes. They're like really like, they're bitches. But the little girl, she's super beautiful, but she's kind. She's a good girl, right? So like kind of like the good princess. And so after like the stepmom moves in with her 2 like stepsisters, her life, the life of the little girl, gets absolutely the worst. So she now is treated like a servant, so she's not allowed to sleep in her bed anymore. She only can sleep on the ground very close to an oven, especially where there's all the ashes around, so she gets a lot of ash on her skin all the time. She always needs to like clean up, is in the dirt and whatsoever. So she always has like a dirty face, like a dirty skin. She needs to wear like dirty clothes, old clothes, like very gray clothes, nothing super fancy or super nice again. And I don't know, her dad doesn't really care. I think he's just like, well, you know, she knows best. She's a woman, so she can raise you. I don't know anything about educating a woman or my little girl, so I don't care. So he just like, he's out of the picture, basically, for almost whole fairy tale, and he's just like letting things happen, which is, yeah, bit of a, yeah, jerk move, I'd say. But yeah, so this is why also the little girl, they start to call her Cinderella, because she's always like dirty and stuff, and they make fun of her, they mock her, they just really treat her very badly. And so this little girl, I mean, she's devastated. She's like growing up now, she lost her mom, her dad does not give a fuck about her anymore. He just like lets her be a servant to the new stepmom and the stepsisters. And so every time she goes to the grave of her mom, who is kind of like in the backyard, they had like a little graveyard, so she always goes to the grave, she cries and prays and is like, oh my god, please, like, help me, this is the worst, like, I just, give me strength with it, just, I want to be a good girl as I promised my mom. And so one day the dad, he like goes into town, and he's quite wealthy and rich, and so he asks his like new daughters and his like little daughter as well. He asked them, so what can I get you? And the stepdaughters, they were of course like, yeah, I want jewelry, I want a nice dress, I want something fancy. And Cinderella is like, well, you know, the first branch that kind of touches your head when you go with your carriage, or like when you ride your horse, I want that first little branch, like you just like take it and give it to me. Very humble, very good girl. And so the dad comes home, he gives like the jewelries and the dress like the stepsisters, and for Cinderella he has a little branch from like a hazelnut tree, and she's like super happy about that, and it's like, oh, thank you. And still the dad is like, well, this is nice, I mean, she's very humble, she only asked for a branch in the street like a servant, like, this dad he drives her crazy. But okay, I mean, after that he's out of the picture, who cares about him? I know I think in the Disney version, or in some other versions, like the dad also dies like right after he marries the stepmom, then that's why she gets evil. But in the fairy tale published by the Grimm brothers, it's not that way. Like, he's there, he is present, kind of, I mean, you know. So yeah, very bad parenting. So Cinderella takes the branch of the hazelnut tree, and she goes back to the grave of her mom, and she plants it in, and then she cries again, and magically, out of the sudden, very fast, the little branch like grows into a big tree. Boom! So there's like a big hazelnut tree now, like right above, you know, the little grave of her mom's. And there's also a white bird, like a white pigeon, that kind of lives there now. And it's like a kind of, basically, if you know the fairy tale, this little like white bird is now the fairy tale godmother, because there is not really like a big fairy tale, just spoiler alert, there's no big fairy tale mom. So this little bird is the magical thing, like the magical helper, the fairy, I don't know what it is. So Cinderella, who is not freaked out by the thing that like her tears made this branch grow into a big ass tree, she's not. So she's more like, oh man, this is nice, I'm such a good girl. So yeah, at one point she notices that whatever she wishes for at this tree, to this like weird little bird up there, like the bird gives her, like he throws it down to her, which is really nice. But she does not wish for the evil stepmom and the stepsisters to like get lost, which I would have probably wished for, which also means I'm not quite a good girl. So I do sometimes have revenge tendencies. So like, yeah, but she hasn't, Cinderella. So she wishes for little things like snacks or like good food, because she also doesn't get like great food there. I mean, she's really like a servant, so she gets like the, you know, everything the other people don't want, or like the rest of the food. And one day they, the king of this kingdom, wherever they live in, he announces that he wants to like do a big ball, like a big, you know, ball where you can dance and celebrate. And at that ball, like every, you know, eligible, whatever, like every woman, young woman that is not married yet and is available can go there, and the prince will choose one of them to be his future wife. So of course the stepmom and the stepsister are like, oh my god, this is the chance of our life. Like the stepdaughters, they need to go there, or like the daughters of the stepmom. And so Cinderella hears that too, and actually Cinderella is like, oh my god, this sounds like really like a lot of fun. I mean, I don't quite care about the prince, but I just want to go to dance. Am I allowed to go too? Because I am actually, basically, I mean, I'm a daughter here too. But the stepmom is like, I mean, look at you. I mean, you're like a dirty little thing. Like, who would care about you? Like, you will just, bring a lot of shame on this house. But Cinderella is very insistent, and she also like starts crying in front of the stepmom, and I guess she has a bit of a heart because she looks at this crying little thing and is like, oh, okay, I have a condition. You can come with us if you pick up these little like I need to look the word up because I don't know what this is in English. Linsen. What is Linsen? Okay. Lenses? No. Peas. Okay, let's say peas. Okay, so, Cinderella, listen up. You can go to the ball with us if you, this bowl of pies that I have here, or peas, bowl of peas, not pies. Pies is a cake thingy, right? Bowl of peas I have here. I want you, she throws it into the dirt on the floor everywhere, like in the ashes. And she's like, you just pick up every good one in one of the bowls and like the bad ones in another bowl, and like clean them up. And if you can do that in 2 hours, I will consider taking you with us. And Cinderella is super excited. It's like, oh my God, this is my chance. So she remembers, of course, this weird little birdie in the hazelnut tree. So she goes out to the window and sings to the birds. It's like, well, guys, can you help me? I really want to go there. And so this white bird like calls on up all his friends. So a lot of birds come into the room, into the window. They fly in and they start to pick up all the pies. Need to look that up. All the things on the on the floor really quickly, and like take the good one and that ball and the bad one and that one. And so like in an hour they're done with everything. And so Cinderella takes the balls, like runs back to her stepmom and is like, oh, I did it, here you go, this is I finished the task you wanted me to do. And the stepmom is like, what? How fast? Like, okay, weird. Well, but still, I mean, everyone, I don't want you to come with us because I feel ashamed of you, and I don't want you to bring shame on our house. Like, this is the thing. I mean, look at you, you're dirty, you're ugly, whatever. And so Cinderella starts crying again, and so the stepmom is like, well, okay. There's another one. So now she takes like 2 bowls, really big bowls of peas, and also throws them into the dirt, onto the ash, like they go like everywhere. It's a total mess. And she's like, you pick up these full bowls of peas, like sort them out, like the good ones and the bad ones in an hour, and I will maybe take you with us. And so Cinderella, again, she goes to the window and is like, my birdie friends, come in. And so all these like birds, like this crowd of birds just like goes in there, and like they all pick up the peas and do like sort them out and stuff. And so super quickly, so I have half an hour and they're done. And so she runs back to the stepmom, and stepmom is like, what the fuck what is this girl? How does she do that? She doesn't apparently hear the birds, they're very quiet, or she does not look or like watch her. I guess she is very busy, like making, dressing for the ball. But even though Cinderella did everything she asked, like the stepmom asked her to do, the stepmom is still like, nah, sorry, but like I lied to you. I don't want you to come with us. And so Cinderella is devastated, especially because she doesn't have any dress, like because she's like they gave her clothes of a servant, right? So it's like it's awful. I'm so sorry, there's a construction again. It's like really, it's in the whole building, and it's been going on for weeks. And I'm slowly losing my mind, but I need to do this, so I hope it's okay. Alright, just hoping for the best that they don't do anything anymore. So where was I? Cinderella goes to the magical hazelnut tree and the weird little birdie and tells them, okay, I wish for a very beautiful, stunning dress gold, silver, you name it. And so she makes herself ready, like she cleans herself up, makes her hair look pretty and stuff. And so the bird, like they throw down, or it throws down the very beautiful dress. And so she dresses up, she goes to the ball, and not even her stepmom and her stepsisters, they recognize her because they only know Cinderella like very dirty and like looking like a servant, and so this is like an extremely beautiful, stunning young woman with like a amazing dress. And of course, because she looks the way she looks, the prince is just like, oh yes, well, she looks pretty and I want to dance with her all night. So he dances with her all night, even though other suitors come along and want to dance with Cinderella too. The prince is like, nope, no. This is my pretty girl and I want to dance with her all night. And they dance and dance and dance until, of course, the ball is almost over. And then Cinderella kind of is like, oh, well, this was nice. I'm just like, I'm going home now. And the prince is like, whoa, wait. I mean, I want to know where you live because I want to marry you. But Cinderella just runs away. Which, I gotta say, makes me believe a bit that maybe she does not want to marry. Maybe she just wanted to go out for a dance and have some fun for once. But yeah, so the prince runs after her and she's like super scared. And so she jumps into like a bird house, apparently like a pigeon house. And the prince is like, oh my God, why did she jump into this pigeon house? I can't follow her for some reason. And then the king comes running, is like, my son, what are you doing? Like, why are you running out at night and running after this girl? And he's like, Dad, this girl, she's so pretty. I danced with her all night. I want her to marry her, but she jumped into this pigeon house and I can't follow her into that house. And the king thinks, maybe it is Cinderella. And I think, how the fuck do you know that? Like, you're the king. How does the king know that there's a Cinderella living in this house when she lives like a servant and no one knows her? Or is she like a legend in the city or in the village? And why, if so, why does no one recognize her? Is this like a Clark Kent Superman situation where she just needs to wear a pretty dress and no one recognizes her anymore? You know? It's just, what the hell? Well, anyways, so the king is like, oh, maybe it is, you know, why though? But, and then he's like, well, you, my son, you know that she jumped into, like, she might hide in this pigeon house. And the son is like, yes, father, I'm sure. So what do? They destroy this house because they get an axe and then they just like destroy this pigeon house just to see if she's in there. But oh, what a surprise, she's not, because on the other side she climbed out and like went back to her house and is now like as Cinderella again, like, you know, undressed herself, is like looks like a servant again, like all dirt over her, and so no one recognizes her. And meanwhile, the king and the prince, they destroy a pigeon house because they think she's hiding in there. But no. Then it's like, oh my God, okay. So we need to make another ball. So they do, the next day, they announce there will be another ball. And same game. Again, like the evil stepmom and the stepsisters, they won't let Cinderella come with them. But this time she's like, well, they're sure, you know, I'm over it. So as soon as they're gone, Cinderella runs to the magical hazelnut tree and the burden is like, give me another amazing dress, like even more beautiful than the other one. So of course, again, the bird like throws down like a super nice dress, like she dresses herself up. She goes to the castle, I think, wherever this ball is held, and she dances again, and the prince sees her and is like, well, this is her, perfect. So they dance again the whole night until like almost midnight, and then she's like, well, I need to go home, and he's like, well, wait, like, I want to know where your home is. I want to marry you. But Cinderella again is like, bye, and runs away. Which again, it could be that she just wanted to go dance. Like maybe she does not want to marry this prince. So she runs away. He runs after her. But then she like climbs up a tree really quickly. I'm not sure what kind of tree. I think it was like an apple tree or something. Then like she climbs up a tree, and the prince, being a prince, he can't apparently climb up this tree too, and he does not really see. I mean, it's night. You know, so he just not really sees. He knows she's somewhere up there. So the king, his father, again, like runs after him. Is like, my son, what are you doing out here? And the prince is like, well, this woman I like she climbed up this tree, and I don't know, like, who she is. And again, the king thinks, oh my God, could it be Cinderella? And again, I'm asking myself, how do you know that? How do you know that this is Cinderella? But okay. Anyways, so what do? They, of course, get an axe and just like, bring down this tree. Like, what the hell? Wait, why? I don't know. Maybe, first of all, I'm not a king, I'm not a prince. Maybe this is how they do it. They just like, they don't want to climb up there. They don't want to look up there. They don't want to send up a servant, look if she's still up there. And of course she's not up there because she climbed down the other side, or however she did that. Like, she disappeared again. Is Cinderella again, all dirty, all servant-like. And the prince is super devastated. He's like, oh my God, again, man. And so he's like, okay, third time is a charm. Let's do another ball. And this evening I will make her stay. So again, same play. Stepmom and stepsisters, they go to the ball. Cinderella as well, that gets another dress from the magical birdie. And it looks even more beautiful, even more stunning. She also has like very nice silver shoes. Like, it's not mentioned as a glass shoe. It's just a slipper, like a cool, nice, a normal shoe. But it looks very beautiful, of course. And so she goes back to the ball. She dances again all night with the prince. And again, then after the ball, she's like, well, bye, I'm going. And he's like, what? Wait, don't. And she runs away. But this time he prepared the stairs because he knew, like, the prince knew that she would like run down the stairs. So he prepared all the stairs and made them very sticky. And so when she runs down, like, her shoe gets stuck in there. So she stumbles, but she keeps running. And now, and like, she runs back home and like gets rid of the clothes, like gets rid of the dress, like, dresses up as Cinderella again. But the prince now has the very famous little shoe. It is stuck in the stairs, and he like gets it up and sees, okay, whoever fits into this shoe will be my wife. And so this is like very similar. Now he goes from, from family to family and tries to, make the young eligible woman try to fit in the shoe. And also he comes over to Cinderella's house, and Cinderella's like, oh shit. I imagine her to be like, oh shit, because if you run away like 3 times from a prince who wants to marry you, and hide, I'm not sure if you really want to marry this dude. So yeah, but well, here we are. So the prince comes over, and the stepsisters are like, oh my God, we need to fit in this shoe, because if we do, we will be queen one day. So he gives them the shoe. And the first, just a little trigger warning here, now it gets a bit brutal. Now we're getting into the bloody part of it. Because, so one of the stepsisters, she tries to get into the shoe, but her, one of her toes, one of her, like, her big toes, I was thinking like the thumb, but the big toe, so the big toe, it doesn't fit into the shoe. So what do you do? So the stepmom is like, who the fuck needs a big toe? You just like cut it off so you fit into the shoe, because if you're going to be queen one day, you don't need to walk again anymore. Who cares? So this is what she does. The stepsister, she like cuts off her toe. So then she presses her foot into the shoe so it fits. And then she kind of like tries to really suppress the pain, goes out to the prince, and the prince is like, oh, it fits. And then he like gets her on his horse. But then he passes with her on his horse, not noticing that probably this foot is like bleeding like hell out of the shoe. But no, he just saw like, okay, it fits fine. So he takes her with him, but then before he like leaves the house, or like the whatever where they live, the country house or whatever, before he lives there are like 2 white birdies, like the magical ones from the hazelnut tree. They sit there, and they are not 2, they're not only 1, so they're 2, and then they scream, they kind of yell at the prince like, watch out, this is not the right woman. Dude, this is not, look at her foot, man. Look at her foot. Not foot. Look at her foot. Look down. And so he looks down at the shoe, and he sees she's bleeding out there. And he's like, oh my God, this is not the right woman. The prince, like, I mean, you danced 3 nights long with this woman and you can't recognize her, but who cares? Okay, um, so he gets back, he's like, this is not the right one, and he makes the other stepsister try on the shoe, and she also tries it on, like, inside, but with her, like, the end of her foot, which I don't know what it's called again, like the end, the thingy, does not fit, and so the stepmom again is like, well, my love, I think we need to cut off your foot again at the end so you fit into the shoe. Because, if you're going to be queen, you don't need to ever walk again, so who cares? You just like, I want you to marry this prince. So, the stepsister, the other one, is just like cuts off the end of her foot so she fits into the shoe. And then she like walks out again, like suppressing her pain. And the prince again is like, looks down. Apparently he's not the blood or whatever, like maybe they cleaned it up a bit and it's not like bleeding super heavily right now, but he's like, oh yeah, it fits perfect, you're going to be my wife. And again, these two birds are like, dude, just look down at the shoe, this is not the right woman. And then the prince is like, oh, okay, so he looks down and he sees that the socks already like start to like bleed through, like it's all like bleeding through. And he's like, well, fuck, this is really not the woman. This dude, I mean. Anyway, so he's like, well, is there another young girl? Do you have another daughter? And the stepmom is like, no, we don't have. And remember the dad who is not quite there and who does not care about his first daughter. He's like, well, yeah, I do have another daughter, but she would be not available for you, young prince. And the prince is like, I don't fucking care. I want to know who that is. I want her to try the shoe on. And so he's very persistent this time, the prince. And so they ask for Cinderella. Cinderella cleans herself up, a bit. Then she goes out, and then he tries. Like the prince is like, okay, this time you don't go inside because I don't want you to cut off any parts of it anymore. So he tries the shoe on her, and it fits perfectly. And also the two birdies who keep watching all this, they're just like, yeah, this is the right one. Good, finally, the third time is a charm. Here we go. And so he's super happy. He takes Cinderella with him, and then they get married, and then she's like princess now, and then she becomes queen one day. But the story is not at the end now, because on their wedding, the two stepsisters also kind of, I guess, lump into there because both of their feet, they're like, might hurt a bit. So they come in dressed up and they hope, even though they were really mean to her all the time, they just hope that because she's supposed to be a good girl, that she like forgives them and they can kind of like also live in her wealth now and like be part of this like new cool king royal family. But on the wedding, when both of the stepsisters are there, these two magical pigeon or like birds, they attack them and they pick out their eyes. So they're blind now. This is their punishment for being bitches to their little stepsister, to little Cinderella. I mean, and only the stepsisters, not the dad, not the stepmom. They were not punished at all, especially the dad, no, but only like the two stepsisters who were raised by, the evil stepmom and who, the thing is how you're raised. Normally you get, you're very similar to that, or like this is how you should treat people. So it's definitely I see the fault more at the stepmom, not the stepdaughters or stepsisters. But here we are, so they are blind now. They have like, the one has no toe anymore, the other one has like, they have so this is how they live now. This is their punishment, and Cinderella lives happily ever after with her prince, I hope, and is still dancing. What a good girl. So yeah, that's the Cinderella fairy tale published by the Grimm brothers. So, my lovely fairy tale nerds, geeks, lovers, subscribers, followers. This is it. This was my little limited series I did about Grimm Fairy Tales. you know, a little retelling, a little bit sarcasm, a lot, what the fucks. I'm also not sure if I get monetized for that, because I do like to curse a lot. You know, but I've noticed that you should not curse a lot, and because then YouTube is like, no, you won't get money for this video, so we'll see. But anyways, for now, there are not a lot of, you know, clicks and followers anyways, so I don't really care now, because maybe I need to like behave a little bit more better. In the future, who knows? But this was very much fun. I really enjoyed it. This was amazing, and also just retell them in English was a really fun thing to do. Because if you have not noticed, I mean, I am German, so I grew up with that shit. I grew up with Grimm Fairytales. I got traumatized because of it. Just letting you know, Strobelpeter is a whole thing. Like, I will, I mean, show you here or on the other side. There's like a picture. You can just look it up. This is a very legit children's book for Germans, and I read it when I was small, and I still sometimes have nightmares because of the dude with the big scissors who comes in and like cuts off your thumbs when you suck it. So don't do that, you know. Yeah, well. Anyways, if you enjoyed it, you know the drill, like, subscribe, you know, comment, and also if you want to follow me on my journey as a creator, because I do also like write books kind of based on fairy tales and mythology, and I will publish one soon when this is out. So yeah, just let me know. You can follow me on my Instagram, you can follow me here on YouTube. I will be more active here. Also want to publish more behind the scenes footage for my movie that I made, like the Butzemann one, because I think they are very, especially with the lore and the myth behind that, I put in a lot of Easter eggs in there. So I thought it might be fun to just talk about it also, like how I created the monster itself. But yeah, so far, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this very weird, fucked up journey, like the stroll into the German fairy tale woods. It was fun. It was a pleasure. I really loved it. And yeah, you just take good care of yourself. You, be aware of evil stepmoms. And also, you have a wonderful time, a magical time. And I hope you will have a happy ending, a good happy ending in your, you know, wherever you are. So, yeah. So here, cheers to fucked up fairy tales and how they shape us still to this day. And maybe, see you soon. Bye bye.